I'm Olivier. I'm the CTO of a software development company, right? And we basically developed software applications for clients in Asia, but also all over the world. Yeah.
Why was it important for you to get like observability into your dev process?
Yeah, sure. So I think maybe that's my engineering side of thinking, but it's true that everything that we do at Nimble, we're really looking for efficiency, right? So where Git Analytics fits into that for us, it was about scaling the team efficiently. So I'm a business owner, I'm a co-founder. So we went from being 2 people to now being close to 70 people. And we started in 1 office and now we have 3 offices. So I think a big part of going through that transition is to understand like what works when we were 10 or 15, doesn't really work when we are 30, 40, 50. So and how we grow efficiently. We didn't want to lose who we were or the quality of the product we were building. And so we were really looking at efficient way to do that.
Did you research kind of like this field? What's the right things to measure? What's the wrong things to measure, etc.?
The process, I mean, we took a process before we opted to go with LinearB, we really went to an extensive process of actually testing many tools, and not only testing, like we're doing some simple testing. We spent about 6 weeks of testing, and to be honest, prior to go into that field, I was more into reading books about engineering management in general, but not necessarily. I think data analytics or this kind of problem is kind of not very much dealt in about in those books. So I think a lot of a big part of what I learned is actually testing a lot of these tools. And when we were testing together, we saw what was available, and it's really when we really dedicated our full attention to it that we started really understanding what matters to us and what did not, right? Because so we tested tools sometimes that basically were boasting to have more than 150 metrics or this kind of things, but for us we pretty much narrow it down to less than, I think, 8. We have 6 or 7, or I'm not exactly, but we narrow it down to that, and this is what matters to us. So there are metrics that matter more to us because we are not necessarily maintaining applications for a very long time, but we are building them over a short period of time, over 6, 8 months or less, and so based on what we do and based on what the team thinks, we really narrow down to a few set of metrics. But to be honest, it's really only when we started this process, like when we started, going into this field, that before we start, we just knew that, yeah, this can be an efficient way for us to go about growing our team and to do our work more efficiently. But we didn't have that much knowledge into all the metrics. Yeah, we basically learned through the tools that we were using and testing, and through this test, it really triggered a lot of conversations internally. Right. So I think that was part of the decision-making process. Yeah.
I understand that. By the way, I like this process. That's a lot of time. This is my process too. Like instead of like going and reading all the materials, the kind of experimenting, and from that you say like conversation grow, and then you narrow down and you understand what are the metrics that are important for you. But I'm just curious if you had like this, if this thought crossed your mind, like to build this in-house.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can be an easy way to think, because as we are software developers, we can just say, okay, I could just build it, right? So there's always this thing. So I think there's definitely the part where maybe I've grown out of that personally, but more globally as a company, right? So I think a big part of why we did not even consider it like for this one, because I think again, it goes back to efficiency, right? So for us, it would have been very inefficient. We would have basically blocked us. I mean, we would have become the bottleneck to, if we wanted this tool to make us more efficient, well, we would just, if we build, we would basically be the bottleneck, right? And to be honest, like in the in the phase where we were at, we were actually trying to increase our efficiency in scaling the team, right? So it means that we were already struggling or actually not having enough time to do everything we wanted. We were trying to look for ways to do more with the same team or with the same current team or so on. So I think going back to efficiency, no, we didn't want to be the bottleneck for that, and we would have that have been efficient. And even when I think about it, like, sure, maybe we could have built like one or two nice dashboard, right, or something like that. But I think when we were testing all these tools, it's just not it's not just having like one tool with some nice graph to look at, right? There's a whole observability of things which is really makes sense to us, right? This is again going back to efficiency. So we don't need to look at all the dashboard all the time because the platform tells us, hey, there's something you should spend your time on, right? And this is where our engineering lead take the most advantage every day, because they're like, oh, if I oversee 2-3 teams, but I will be informed right away when something is not going well. So I think it's just not to have nice little dashboard, but it's the whole thing about having notifications. Obviously, it's not something we were shopping for, but when we were looking for a tool, but having the integration with the project management tool is actually something we like very much now. And so it's not only just to have the nice graph. I think it's the other things that the notifications and the integration that we can get right through these tools. And to be honest, like, I mean, if we were to build like everything that LinearB does, that would be a tremendous amount of work, because it's not only what the dashboard screen, right? There is pretty much of that. I mean, we are a big fan of the pulse or the activity screens, because yeah, it's not, I think, yeah, sure, we might have been able to do some graphs, but that's not really only what we have, right?
Once you roll it out and you had like so you had a product and maybe you had like your playbook, what was the feedback that you got from the team?
Yeah, I think the first feedback I get is from our engineering leads, because this is it's really, they are, I would say, beyond myself, they are the primary users. I mean, that's basically like their user like myself that basically check it every day, right? Like the teams might not, I mean, they might check it from time to time, but I think the engineering, they check it the most, right? But so I think the first feedback I got is that, yeah, it's much clearer what they have to do and what they need to look at, right? So that's the first feedback. But I think this is kind of initial feedback to say, okay, nice, pretty clear. This is how you want. This is what we should do when a notification happens. This is what we should do. This is, in this kind of case, how we want to raise those concerns in our retrospective. So that was more about clarity, and it was more about, okay, this is clear. We know how to best use this tool.
Thank you very much for your time.